afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a good Saturday. Just watched Wales and Switzerland down there. Good little game. Well done to Wales on getting a draw there. I think they probably feel like they got away with that, I reckon. There was opportunities at both ends. Probably got a little bit lucky. Didn't get to see Dylan Levitt play, unused sub, but it is what it is. Right, let's get into this then. And cheers for tuning in. Give the video a like. Get your questions in because I will answer some of the questions as we get on. As the title says, is it 50 million down a drain? Even though we spent 36 million. Tony Marshall has been offered to Real Madrid. Say what now? And this is according to Duncan Castle, so I will give you the opportunity to frame that however you want to do it. Supposedly United need to free up some funds, which logically makes a bit of sense, I guess, to sign Sancho or targets such as Erling Haaland and Harry Kane. That's when it got into the bit of a, all right, okay, sort of territory. I do think we're in the market for Sancho. I actually think Sancho's very likely. I think there's a good chance that gets concluded before England get knocked out. Erling Haaland and Harry Kane, I will be amazed if they end up as United players ever, let alone this summer. So Duncan Castle's saying that United are trying to offload him loan to Real Madrid, which is interesting, with the option to buy him after a year. What's your guys' thoughts on that? For me, very poor season. 4 goals, 6 assists this season before he was injured. Terrible season from Tony Marshall, not just in terms of how many games he ended up playing, but the games he actually played in, he didn't really contribute to. Cavani absolutely showing him up with the movement off the ball, his movement in the box, and just showing that he's a much better fit as a number 9 for Manchester United. Tony Marshall has not really progressed, in my opinion at least, as a footballer since his first season. Now, sometimes those first seasons that you see of a player, they can give you a bit of a glimmer of what's possible with those footballers. But sometimes you get a bit of a cheated look at some of those players. The likes of Adnan Januzaj in his first season under David Moyes was just told, go and express yourself. Louis van Gaal turns up, goes, right, son, here's the tactical instructions I need you to follow. And Januzaj's like glazing over, and he's like, get rid of this fucking kid, he's no good to me. Obviously, different managers can see different things and give you different freedoms. But your first season as a pro, you're very much given the license to just go and express yourself. As you hit your mid-20s, where Tony Marshall is now, you need to be productive. Tony Marshall is not a productive member of United's forward line at the moment. I think Marcus has had a poor season, but the numbers are not poor. The numbers are very, very good numbers, despite having a poor season. Tony's numbers are just poor. So I'm not really sure I'm not really sure that this is an entirely true story. There might be some truth to this story. I certainly could see Tony Marshall going to Real Madrid on loan. Bit of a free hit for Real Madrid if they're going to be deficient in that area. You look at some of the players that they're rumoured to be offloading. It could certainly happen. I'm not saying that I don't think this would ever happen. I actually think this is something that feasibly could happen. But, you know, I'll get what you guys are saying in the comments. Let's have a look what you lot are saying in the comments. Let's get it up. Martin says a loan would be a great shout. If he does well, he gets his mojo back and we can give him another chance, or we can let him go. And B, if he doesn't well, we'll cut ties. It's a great way of looking at it, mate. Yeah, I would completely agree with that one. Terry Cool says he and Pogba have got questionable work rate and can be very lazy. I would disagree with that. I think Tony Marshall gives the impression of being very lazy, but I wouldn't say that about Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba covers a lot of ground, up and down through midfield. And Ross, letting Tony Marshall go doesn't help squad depth. It doesn't. And there's no but there, it doesn't. You'd hope that someone comes in. You would hope that there's other signings coming in. But there. Don't sell him because I like him, Oliver says. At least you're honest with that opinion. There's a lot of people probably sharing that opinion, trying to figure out how they actually say that. If Tony leaves, McCullough would cry. Yep, he would. We'll make sure we get it on video for you. Conrad says, I think he'd smash it in Spain and the league would suit him so well, especially with his dribbling ability. You might be right. And this is the thing is, as Martin said earlier, it was a good comment. If he goes and he improves, fantastic. You've either just got way more value for him, or you bring him back and you've got a fruitful player again. If he doesn't, Well, then there you go. James says, not going to complain. He's been so frustrating to watch and crap in the air. And a lot of people echoing very similar thoughts. And a few people saying, yeah, he's not going to reach his potential. Next one then, supposedly ESPN, but here's what they're saying. That Juventus are willing to offer Dybala or Ronaldo to United in a swap deal for Pogba. Listen, it would need to be both. Looking at the age profile, Ronaldo's clearly a better footballer than Paul Pogba, but that's not how these things work. People look at the resale value or relative resale value of these players. They were not going to get £100 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. You might be looking at £30 million because of his age. Now, that's not to say he's not still a fruitful player, because he is, but you don't pay that sort of money for a player that's that age. Pogba is a £100 million player. Dybala, I'm just not interested in. I think he's a good footballer. I just don't think he's going to be a good fit for United. It would probably need to be both Dybala and Ronaldo to be the value of Paul Pogba for me. And it's interesting because there's not that much difference in terms of the ability of all three players, but that's just the way it is. Juventus are low on funds. Pogba's contract's expiring next year. They think a deal is possible, supposedly. And it's, like I said, it's according to ESPN. So take that with a massive fistful of salt. And supposedly the Kieran Trippier deal is getting complicated. Atletico want more money. Standard practice, I guess, and it's the Daily Express and the Mirror that's saying this. And according to the Mirror, they've placed a £30 million price tag on Trippier in an attempt to put United off. And they're also going to reject approaches until suitors make an offer closer to their asking price. And supposedly Simeone is quite keen on keeping him at the club. And that's a kicker, isn't it? But ultimately, these are the noises that you want your parent club to be making about anybody. Maybe not if you're a player who's desperately wanting to get out, but any player that comes in, or any club that comes in for one of your players, you want to be oh yeah, great player, need him. Oh yeah, first choice. Yeah, I'm not selling him. Because if you do the opposite, and someone comes in, can we have Trippier? Oh, do you know what? He was never going to play for me. So yeah, just take him. I don't like him anymore. You're not going to get any money, are you? Negotiating Tactics 101 tells you that you've got to go in and say, yeah, we like him. Let's keep him. I'm not really interested in selling him. Oh, yeah, maybe if the money's really good, then we'll think about it. This is just playing the game. I'd be amazed if any deals are concluded now the tournament starts. England start their games 24 hours away. So I would be amazed if any deals are done now. It's just bananas to assume that any deals can happen now. But I do think negotiations with clubs can happen now. And there's no reasons why these should stop either. I think this would be very sensible use of time. Also find it very bloody annoying that the clubs seemingly get to the end of the season, go on holiday for a couple of weeks, and then start picking the phone up to try and make deals happen. What was you doing in January? We didn't sign anybody in January. Did we? I don't think we signed anyone in January, did we? Can't remember. All right, doesn't feel like we signed anyone in January. I don't think we did, actually. We certainly didn't sign anyone for the first team, or first choice at least. So, when you wasn't making signings in January, wasn't you planning for the summer? I mean, as soon as that window closed, you should have sat down with the manager and go, right, here's your squad for the next 12 months. Where are our hot spots that need replacing? And he'd have gone, well, we didn't get the right winger that we wanted, so we definitely still need a right winger. So let's get to work on that, shall we, straight away. We'll get you a short list of 5 players in the next 6 weeks or something like that. So you can have a proper look at them, and then you can narrow it, or maybe 10, right? And you can narrow it down to 3 or 4. All right, yeah, cool. And then before November lands or December lands, you've got 3 or 4 of your players. You've sounded the clubs out. Look, we're interested in that player in the summer. What do you reckon? And the club gives you a price. You either go yeah or no or maybe. And then you come back to it around January time. Hey, listen, just wanted to let you know we'll be putting a bid in. Are you interested? Get the deals lined up early. As soon as one window closes, the planning starts the same second. Or it should do if you're well run. And we all know United aren't, but it should be, shouldn't it? It should be well run to the point where you can just know that they're going to address the obvious issues that the manager's got. And this is one of the benefits of having a manager that ends up being there for several years, because he's started to really understand his squad and start to understand where he's short and how some players, if he scouts them properly and long enough, are going to fit into the squad and are going to improve his squad. A manager that comes in his first summer is going to make so many mistakes. You're going to make an absolute ton of mistakes because you're going to be like, I don't know enough about my squad. I quite like that right back. I liked him before I came to the club, and I'm going to sign him, even though you might have a great right back that's already at the club, for example. So I would love to have the confidence that the window closed last year and United went, let's sort Sancho out. So how's it got to the point where Sancho's at the Euros now? There's another deadline where we have to have this concluded by, and we might roll right through that again without signing anybody. This is nuts. This can't be the best way to do business for multi-billion-pound companies. That's insane to me that that's how that's run. Let's see what you guys are saying in the old comments. Oops, super chat there that I've just missed. Marshall been dining out on that Liverpool debut goal, says Chris. Yes. Ethan Lairdy's ready, says Saul Matthews. It's a very interesting one. And Pranav says, Howson doesn't like Delo. All right, you tell me why I should. What is he better than everyone else at? He can whip a cross in. Cool. What else can he do? Everyone thought he could play right wing just because we'd never had anybody else that was playing in that spot. Ross says maybe we're playing a new formation next season with Wan-Bissaka as a centre-half and Trippier as a wing-back role. I believe the thought of Wan-Bissaka playing centre-half, seemingly that got leaked last week, was to sort of was a bit of a PR thing, either from Wan-Bissaka's team or from the club, not to create a bit of a shitstorm. Because if you're publicly seen to be courting a right back while you've got a £50 million right back, everyone at the club's going to be like, hey up lad, especially when he's gone to the Euros and you've not. So if you can put it into the press, oh yeah, maybe we're thinking of Wan-Bissaka maybe at centre half. So when Trippier comes in, it's obviously not direct competition. It just smooths the transition into the team, doesn't it? So I wouldn't necessarily buy that on face value. I think there's more to it than that. And Ryan says Trippier should be 15, 20 million max or walk away. I'd agree on that. And yeah, if you get to the 30 million point, you go like, right, at what point was the point in having Ethan Laird? Even though Saul had a bit of an off-season, should we still be showing interest in him if he's available? Absolutely. Laird needs a chance rather than have him as a backup, rather than getting robbed from Atletico. Yep. Benji says, we talk about Man City's squad depth of players, but we want to sell Marshall. The point of having the squad depth is productive players, though. Otherwise, they could sign me. I'd be pretty cheap. Talk to me, we'll figure out how much, but you know what I mean? They have to be productive players. You can't just have loads of players that are shit. It doesn't work like that. And yeah, you've still got the likes of Phil Jones at the club. Is anyone counting that as squad depth at centre-half? Don't think so. And honestly, if he turns up for a pre-season photo, I'm wounded. Absolutely wounded. Anyway, that's the rumours for today. Just thought we'd do a quick little live there for you to have a quick chat about him. Tony Marshall, 50 million down the drain. Or is it? And is he off to Spain? Pogba, Dybala swap. Fuck out of here with that. And Trippier going up to 30 million. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Latest.